You're famous for thinking that we're in a mess.
I don't like it. My wife also calls me Eeyore.
Yeah. So you can tell from the structure of this interview that we don't need to draw that out. I myself I think we're in a terrible mess, and famous for thinking that too. But it's good to think about the perspective, the background that can help us understand the mess and maybe make a plan to get out of it. Do you have suggestions for us about that?
Well, there's two ways you could approach that remedy. One is politics and one is culture or spirit. Politics, I think, we're $32 trillion in debt, and we have no way of paying it back, and we're running a $2 trillion deficit. And the mentality behind that is, I guess it's modern monetary theory. So there's always going to be a postmodern theory to justify some disastrous action, but we're headed toward a rendezvous with radical financial correction of somehow, whether it's Social Security or Medicare or the budget. And there's other things that used to be our forte. The military I think, is in deep trouble. They're having problems recruiting. They're becoming ideological. All the things we grew up with as traditionalists that we counted on, the DOJ, the FBI, the CIA, they seem unrecognizable. So there are things that have to be addressed. And one of the things I think we've got to do is go back to smaller government, less regulation. But to do that, you just can't say that. That means, okay, Victor, how do you do it? Well, you have to elect the House and the Senate and the White House, and then you have to be on the same page. That's very difficult to do. It's very rare when a party can do that. But that's what the only solution. Unless you believe that you can do it spiritually or culturally or socially by changing the hearts and minds of people. And there's two things that give me hope. One's negative. One is it can't get worse. We're getting to what Herb Stein said, as I said the other night. If it can't go on, it won't go on. When you walk through downtown San Francisco and you tiptoe through human feces and you see people who are injecting and fornicating and urinating and assaulting people with impunity, and you see cars that have placards, nothing inside, car unlocked, don't take anything, then you see that in 30% of these beautiful buildings are empty, that it looks like a neutron bomb hit it. And so that can't function much longer. And there are people in San Francisco that defunded the police that said we shouldn't do that. And there's people that said the homeless is out of control. And there's people saying we've got to stop smash and grab. And unlike you or I, these are very strong members of the left. And they say our philosophy did not work. So it's too bad we had to get to this point, but you're starting to see people recognize that when they got their way and they got control of our institutions, the corporate boardroom, K through 12, the universities, professional sports, entertainment, the media, and they got everything they wanted, it doesn't work. And then the other thing is that I think a lot of people have memories, kind of like Romans in the 3rd or 4th century AD. We have memories, collective memories of that things were starting to be better in the past, and there's all these different movements where people are trying to recapture the Lions Club or the Elks Club, or they're moving out into communities in the foothills, or sometimes it's a monastery of the mind. They just say, I'm not watching I was interested in this. I'm not watching the Tonys. I'm not watching the Oscars. I'm not watching the Emmys. I'm not watching the NBA anymore. I'm not watching the halftime show. And when you look at the statistics, it's radical. It just dropped off. So non-participation in popular culture is starting to really make an effect. A lot of people say, I know I should be doing this. I know I should watch this stuff. I don't go to movies anymore. Part of it's technology. I can watch them at home. But I don't want to participate in the popular culture because it's a road to oblivion.